let's talk about Elaine. Since everybody wants to talk about Elaine, we could talk about Elaine. I don't want to talk about Elaine, sir. Mm. Elaine Thompson-Herah. So I was watching a video recently. Oral Tracy said he peep over a fence. And we might not be seeing Elaine, none at all for the rest of the season, and things are not going good, and all sorts of different things. Now, this is my opinion. Okay, and a lot of people don't know. For when it comes to Oral Tracy, he's had a lot of influence on how we create our content, in the sense that I remember when I used to watch sports commentary back in the day before Oral took over the spot, and to me it was the worst time at the news night. I know Jamaicans, you have to watch news, you have to watch the 7 o'clock news, you have to watch the 8 o'clock news, you just have to watch news, right? And for me, it was the worst period in that whole news segment was me watching sports commentary. But then Oral took over, and it was just this. And I was like, wow, what's going on? Sports commentary could be this entertaining and interesting. But I always love track. So what I used to do is I used to have my thoughts and opinions on events, because I knew the night he was definitely going to be talking about it. And it was the same thing about cricket and all of whatever sporting event it was. I would have my thoughts and opinions on it, and then I would cross reference them with whatever he said the night before, the same night, right? So he's influenced how yeah, well, my development, you would say, in this whole sports analyst game, I suppose, or sports commentary game. So he's had a lot of influence on me, and I guess you see that in my style of delivery, like kind of raw, how we just deliver it raw, I suppose. But this is my thing. Tracy not even knows that Jaden Hebert was the world leader in the triple jump, jumping 17.87 meters. Why am I for the life of me going to believe Oral Tracy look over one fence? Which fence Alien not come out for the rest of the season? No, why for the life of me am I going to Oral never know about Jaden? Listen, Jamaica is very track focus or sprint focus, in the sense that we're always looking on the 100 meters, 200 meters, whatever sprint it is, hurdles, whatever. We're always focused on looking there. But you best believe, say, I look at every event every Jamaican is in, whether or not you're performing up to a certain standard, world level, because guess what? I need to see trend. I need to see if you're able to make it on the world scene, maybe eventually make it to the world championships. Like how I was watching our 800-meter guys last year. I may say, yo, so my boy, they're going to make it, and see, he made it, right? So for coming into this year now, I've already set my expectations for some of these 800-meter athletes. You best believe I know what is going on. So I don't buy Oral Tracy's comment about we don't really focus on anything outside of sprinting. Not no so. Once you love track and field, and of course, if you're supporting Jamaicans, you're gonna be looking in every facet wherever a Jamaican is. And let me tell you something about the Jamaican flag there. You spot it from all when they're wearing their university colors, are black, green, and gold alone, you see. Right? You spot them from a mile away. So what I usually do when I'm looking at our Jamaican athletes, especially the ones in university scene, I just look at the names. So like I'll be looking at a list of athletes participating, and I scroll through and I'm like name spotting. That's what I'm doing, because I remember you from high school. So I'm name spotting. Right. So I'm always looking out for these athletes. So I'm like, you didn't know Sir Jaden a world leader right now? Like I would rock Oral a live under. So okay, when you got into this alien thing about looking over fence. Ah, looking over fence. Them now say she pregnant for last year. Looking over. Look here. I'm not saying it's not possible. I'm not saying it's not possible that Elaine is possibly out for the rest of the season or whatever. I'm not saying it's not possible. However, trackies, may I have to go wait and see Elaine put out that and say she done for the rest of the season for me to believe. Because again, I'm quote unquote, I'm not really trusting this quote unquote source. It to me it sounds like the thought that everybody has. We haven't seen her run. We know typically athletes need races to get sharp. So there's no way you can come out and especially for trials and be competitive. That's just facts. Like if you're looking at it face value, regardless of how you feel about Elaine, you're saying an athlete needs races, yeah, to get sharp. So we haven't seen Elaine. The last time we saw her, she didn't look so good. So I haven't seen her since. All the talk surrounding Elaine right now is that Elaine is not good. But I'm saying this is just how the general public feel about it, or how we feel about it, just looking on and as from an outsider perspective. Did it come from Elaine's camp? Did somebody actually go over there and see and be like, okay, whatever? I don't necessarily think so. I think that's just the general feeling that persons have as it relates to Elaine's current situation. Now I said on the live last week that it's one or two things. Elaine either doesn't need the races because I'm like, look here. In my mind, there's no way on God's green earth your coach knows you need races to get sharp and not run you. I don't care who you are, right? I don't care if people are going to be like, oh my God, when you come out and run, Elaine doesn't look good. So hiding away is gonna fix it. Hiding away is not gonna fix it. Hiding away is not gonna fix it. And it's the same thing I felt last year. Last year when people were telling her to go hide away and not go to the Commonwealth Games and not do this and not do that. I said, why? For what reason? Go run the race, go figure out the issue, and go fix it. That's what I said. That's what I said last year. So when everybody was grumbling and complaining and saying Elaine shouldn't have gone to Commonwealth Games, I said, oh hell no. You try go to that Commonwealth Games and fix and figure out what the problem was. And so you can go back in a training now and fix it and wheel and come again. So into looking at it now, I'm like, there's no way Elaine needs these races and she's not running. There's no way. So it's one or two things. Either it's like Oral Tracy say, she no good and she not gonna run for the rest of the season. Or she's good and she's gonna come out and do something. I don't want to say quote unquote spectacular just yet because I'm being a realist in my brain. But she's gonna come out and she's gonna perform competitive enough, right? I'm so if I'm leaning on this side that says okay, Elaine is gonna come and perform good enough, then it means that she's fine. Until then, and until I see Elaine put out something, until I see something from Elaine's camp, or I don't want to say that Oratrice is not a credible source, but right now he's not really sounding credible. It's not really sounding credible. It's not really sounding credible. So right now, because it's not sounding credible, I don't want to hear anything he has to say about it. Or maybe it's just my bias for Elaine why I don't want to hear it. But as it stands right now, her coaching team would have to be letting her down. And here why I'm saying this. I took the time out. Track is no. I've been trying my hardest to get into the social media game. It's part of the reason why I took that time off and I was unable to even just tell you guys why I took the time off because I'm so hard at this type of thing. Like I'm bad at it. I don't know how to update a Instagram or a Twitter or whatever. Like it's something I just can't get into. I don't know if I'm an old soul or what it is. But I took the time out to go to Elaine's Instagram to check, Elaine Wagwan, baby girl, Wagwan, my good girl. Cause you know so we call Elaine good girl. So I say, I'm like, Wagwan, give me some kind of, tell me something. And I remember seeing a few posts from her. And one of them in particular, she said, I am capable of overcoming anything. Giving up on myself is not an option. Trackies, that sound like somebody will give up to you? Does that sound like somebody that has given up to you? She said, and I quote, I am capable of overcoming anything. Giving up on myself is not an option. So if Elaine is not giving up on herself, why would her coaching team give up on her? Okay, we're throwing experience. We already get it. Her husband is coaching her. He's not the most experienced coach, right? We already get all of that already. I'm just saying, why would he let her down in the sense that have her be over there giving up on herself? I don't believe that. I do not believe that her coaching team would do that to her. So if her coaching team is not giving up on her, if her coaching team believes in her and knows that she is capable of running whatever times on the and they can get her back to whatever level, and she needs the races, she'll be running. She would be running. So the mere fact that she's not running track is, I'm praying to God that that's a good sign that she has not given up. Based on what she's saying, she hasn't given up. It's not done for this year. And she's still be running. I'm gonna just read off a few more of the quotes. And I think I took it. When did I watch that Oral Tracy video? I don't remember when I watched that Oral Tracy video. I don't remember when he put it out. But I think I remember going to her Instagram shortly after watching it. And maybe she put these things up in response to, because these athletes are watching. They are watching, right? So I'm thinking she probably put these things up in response. So one of them, obviously, she said she giving up on herself is not an option. Let me see if I can find the other ones. I took a screenshot of them, so I'm trying to pull up the other ones. But yeah, she says getting over a painful experience is much like crossing monkey bars. You have to let go at some point in order to move forward. That's another one. Then she says the most important thing you can do to improve your life is to wake up, smile, and be grateful. Let me see. I think there's another one. Let me see if I can find, or another few. How many quotes does she make? Okay, I already read that one. Um, okay, I think I had a few of them multiple times. Right. I think those are all the quotes that I took from her story. Is it called story? Something, whatever. That's what I took from her story. So track is, you tell me, based on what I've said, does that sound like somebody that has given up this season in track and field? Why would she be? Because to me, if you're making these posts, you're putting a bullseye on your back, because people are going to be looking and saying, and how you did say this, or how you did, you know what I'm saying? So you're not going to go out of your way to do certain things or say certain things if you know you're just gonna be gone. You're not gonna go to your way to make it sound as though you're still gonna be performing, in my opinion, because I don't see how that does you any justice, or I don't see the good in that. So my opinion is on Elaine is that looking over the fence story, take it with a grain of salt. I think a lot of times when you're doing commentary, you take feedback from the general track public. And I think the general track public is of the consensus that Elaine is not good. And that's what I see. That's what I see. So I know the general track public believes that because once you're not racing, you can't be good. And it's the same thing for Shelley, in the sense that they're like, is she good? But in my opinion, not the Shelly. So in the same breath, if I'm giving Shelly grace to say not the Shelly, as a matter of fact, I heard a video where Shelly a laugh and a giggle. Shelly a laugh and a giggle in the background. What was the most recent one? Where they were asking them, I think it was asking them to finish a dancehall song or something. And Shelly in the background, happy at the training camp and having fun. That not sound like something wrong with nothing wrong with Shelly. Shelly good. Shelly's gonna come out when the time is ready and dust everybody she needs to dust. Right? So if I'm giving Shelly the same grace to say that they've been in the game long enough, yeah, maybe the coaches don't have the same experience, wealth of knowledge, whatever, it doesn't matter, right? If I'm giving Shelly the same grace to say she's fine, I'm also going to give Elaine the same grace to say she's fine until I see otherwise. And I could be very well wrong. I could come, Elaine could come out and run, and I'm surely disappointed, and I'm like, oh God. And I try to cross that bridge when it comes, but for now, I won't join that. Elaine is done for this year's story or narrative. I'm not going to be a part of it. Let's see. She is pregnant. LOL. Where she there? She pregnant. Oh no, I said Elaine pregnant from last year. I live out of Kingston too, but wants to see my young queen Tina run too, cause I haven't seen her run any of the races lately. Only Tia. Oh, I forgot. I want to go over the start list. Of what you call it? Of Racers Grand Prix. That was another thing. So that's the last thing I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go over the start list and give you my take on what's going on there. Elaine will be just fine. I never found Oral Tracy funny when watching sports commentary growing up. He was very look here. If you know what sports commentary was coming from, it was a vast improvement. Oral isn't the only one saying, "Look here, can't I pin these things?" I know there was a way to pin it. Pin you. I know there was a way to put it up on the screen. Oh, all I do is click it. Hello. You see, when you're not doing lives anymore, you forget how to do these things. Oral isn't the only one saying she's out. Some are saying she's pregnant. Well, Oral could not even look over the fence and update us that both Brianna and Tina were having hamstring injury recently. Who will listen to Oral these days? A lot of people still listen to Oral. I still watch Oral. Whether or not, all right, let's make this clear. Whether or not I agree with a particular stance, I will still watch because I just want to hear your opinion and your view. Plus, also other content creators like myself, I give them the support. Why not? Why not? Why not? So to me, it doesn't really matter. I just watch, but I think I only refer to maybe Sports Max a lot because I watch a lot of Sports Max as well. Because they tend to bring on the athletes, they tend to talk to the coaches. So I like to hear from their perspective and I can reference them a lot. But yeah, she looked terrible. Yeah, she never. No, be blessed. I'm not joining that narrative. Here my problem. Here my problem with that Elaine 200-meter race. I don't know which race you guys watched. But for the one I watched, I didn't gather the same opinion everybody else gathered. And here's why. I don't know if this is a track that is twice the size of regular tracks, but Elaine was way over in yonder. Way over in yonder. I couldn't see nothing. I could not see anything. So, and the reason why this is important to me is I remember last year, Shelly ran at 200 meters. And when Shelly come off of the bend, Shelly stopped run. And Shelly just bounced to the finish line. And eventually Anthony Strawn passed her. If I had taken that same Shelly race and flung it out in the distance where I couldn't see poor video quality one and poor angle two, I could have come up with the narrative that Shelly bust as she come off of the bend. But because we could see live in living color what Shelly actually did, she literally just stopped running and cruised to the line. We knew she was in great shape, right? And that loss was nothing, and that loss meant nothing to us, right? So in that same breath, I'm saying because I couldn't see the race from the far off angle where Elaine did there, how do we know what really happened? Do we know if Elaine decided to just run a hard 100 and cruise home, or do we know that she really just was trying her hardest and just lost steam and couldn't go anymore? I could tell none of those things, and because I could tell none of those things, I could not come to that conclusion. So I couldn't join all of the other persons that saying how Elaine looked bad and how everybody run past her. I said, we're gonna stay from and see that. Yes, the girl ran past her, but where did they stay from and see that Elaine looked bad? Because I didn't see it either. So, me not know about that. Be blessed. I honestly don't agree with the take most people had on it. So, definitely right. You're more knowledgeable than Mark. Nobody make me head get swell around here. She didn't look so good going into Tokyo 2020. Watch the ride. Me if you tell you, let me tell you something. When I remember, maybe I'm a stalker. Maybe I stalk Elaine. I remember going into trials and everybody was and everybody was talking up Shelly and everything. And Stephen Francis came out of nowhere and said Elaine is in the best shape of her life. And of course, Elaine got dusted. And I said to myself, Stephen, no man, Stephen could not be crazy to come out and say that and Elaine lose, right? And I'm like, no, Elaine not ready right now. But the following week, they went to Hungary. And that race, I remember calling up my sister same time and I said, see there, Elaine is good. And it's so funny because going into Olympics, what we tend to do is, or going into any championships, we tend to call 1, 2, 3. And I remember calling Elaine for the win, and my sister cloned me and she said, "You're calling Elaine for that win?" And I said, "Yeah, because one, I'm trusting what Steven said. Two, and that last race told me enough. That last 100 meters told me enough." So I said, "You know what? I'm calling Elaine for the win." So her winning to me was not a surprise. How she win though? Me not tell you no lie. That has to be the best executed race I've ever seen from Elaine. And it was even better than that 10.54. That 10.54 was just crazy in terms of her acceleration. But like from a technical standpoint, that race was a beauty. I remember watching it from front way. I mean, I say right now, you not even look like Elaine move from like point A to point B. You couldn't even tell that she was moving. You couldn't to how good that race was executed. You couldn't even tell that she was moving. You just saw her doing this, but you couldn't even tell that she was moving. It was ridiculous, or it is ridiculous. I implore you all, go watch about that race. It's a good watch. I watch races all the time, but go watch it again. It's a really good watch. Um, the fact is, Elaine doesn't have to prove anything to anyone. No, I don't think it's about proving anything to anyone. I think for most of us, including myself, if an athlete has come is of a certain caliber, then you want them to continue performing at that caliber, at that level. And then when they don't perform at that level, then of course you're going to have questions. I don't think having questions about what's going on with Elaine is a bad thing. Well, I question it all the time, and I want to see Elaine perform well. I don't think it's a bad thing. I think when you start to say like when you start to add in stuff that isn't necessary, then maybe I get what you're saying. But I don't think there's anything wrong with expecting great things from a great athlete. I don't think there's nothing wrong with that. Elaine is not 18 months pregnant. She's okay. Here, from the time I hear Elaine pregnant, Elaine's supposed to have 2 pitney. True words, T. Make them chat. Oh Lord. Something is obviously wrong because she needs the races. Yeah, common sense is telling me that she would need the races, but as again, I don't think her team would be tripping her up that much to not have her race. So if she not run, then she don't need to race them. So I'm keeping my fingers crossed.